Yes. Today, being the 10th day of the month of February, things have changed dramatically and drastically on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And in this video, categorically, they explain every single thing that happened in Nnamdi Kanu's case, step by step, so you can see, pay attention, and be informed. First thing first, as we speak to you, the UN has officially responded to the thousands and series of petitions that people in Nigeria have been sending to them regarding the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And as we speak to you, the UN have sent a clear letter, a clear warning, and a clear statement to Omotosho and Bola Ahmed Tinubu regarding Simon's release. So what did it happen? Let's break it down in a layman term so that you go feel understand that. We all know say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was apprehended, sentenced to life imprisonment on the 20th of November, Abi. After that particular day and time, plenty petitions. People don't send petitions from Aloy to Maxwell to the Avid Group, American military personnel, Uchechi Kanu, the wife of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Like everybody have been sending petitions, series of petitions to the UN, the UK, and others. And as we speak, the UN has officially, they don't come out from their shell and they don't come out from their hiding zones and spots to address the issue of Mazi once and for all. What did they happen? Well, I'll take you to the desk of the Vanguard and show you what they sup as they speak. It states, updated, UN working group tells Nigeria to unconditionally release, compensate Nnamdi Kanu. This is coming from Vanguard, a verified source, as you all can clearly see right now on your screen. They tell the Nigerian government, say, okay, make una release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. If they release him, you are going to compensate him. Not just release him, you are going to compensate him as the case may be. Well, when we go deeper to this particular conversation, make you see the full article in details. It states, the United Nations UN Human Rights Council Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has indicted both Nigeria and Kenya governments for the arrest and extraordinary rendition, torture, and continued detention of the leader of the IPOB group in the person of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without due process. Before we continue, let's do some quick analysis to explain what today right now on our screen. As you can see, now a particular group under the UN, a group in the UN that focuses on Human Rights Council and all. They don't look at all the series of petitions where people don't send to them. And they designated a group of individuals to investigate how Nnamdi Kanu got from Kenya to Nigeria, how Nnamdi Kanu left UK, entered Kenya, and how he reached Nigeria. They can say the whole process was flawed based on the fact that this man was illegally renditioned. This man was brought into this country forcefully without following documented and legal patterns. They are saying all of those things did not follow due process, and Nigeria has no other option but to release this man unconditionally. Whatever you have sentenced him to, release him unconditionally and make sure you compensate him massively in that same regard. The article also went on, make you still look and observe every single thing we did. The council therefore urged Nigeria's government to ensure immediate release of Kanu unconditionally and pay him adequate compensations for the habitual violation of his fundamental human rights. So, not just you releasing him, you go release him. You will still take him from Sokoto or wherever he is. You carry him, go the place where you carry and come from, maybe Kenya. It all depends on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If he wants to go back to Kenya, when I will carry him from Sokoto, fly him to Kenya and still compensate him massively. Compensations will not be 1 naira or 2 naira or 1 million, 2 million. No. Because this man have spent how many years in detention now? If you put them together, it's going to 10 years. Imagine you take 10 years from somebody's working life. That is to say, at least, if you want to compensate him, you give him nothing less than 500 million naira, to say the least. 500 million naira, to say the least, as a compensation. We know say it is small, but we go start from there. The letter also continued by saying it also recommended that government officials responsible for the torture meted on the IPOB leader be investigated and punished. The working group further asked Nigeria to report back within 6 months of the transmission of its opinions on Kanu's matter. Steps taken to comply with all the recommendations thereof. It referred the case of Kanu's torture to Special Rapporteur on Torture and other cruel, human and degrading treatment or punishment for further consideration. The UN Working Group also said it will take further action to ensure that the recommendations are complied with, noting that both Nigeria and Kenya are signatories to the convention and should comply. Let's break this and analyze this properly. They are saying Nigeria and Kenya are both signatories to the UN Convention and the US laws and regulations, meaning say Nigeria and Kenya answers massively to the UN conventions. So whatever the UN is saying, Nigeria have to respect it, obey it, pay attention to it, and take full jurisdiction of what they're doing, because they don't do their investigation. They don't say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was illegal rendition. He was also tortured. He was dealt with and brutalized. For the very first time, this is the very first time with the UN they come outside and talk. Because normally, petitions has been sent to these people. We wonder why it took them this long. Why it took them this long to make statements. To make statements regarding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's illegal rendition. And I also say that they give Nigeria's government 6 months for the transmission of its opinions on Kanu's matter. I mean, today is what, February. 6 months from now, they want to see Nigeria, the government of Nigeria, give transmission on Kanu's matter. They must openly come to the UN. They go sit down for the UN and discuss what happened for Nnamdi Kanu's case. Why are all of these errors being allowed to operate? Meanwhile, it's very possible that within these 6 months or before these 6 months, they go down free Mazi. And Nigeria's government will have to come and answer questions. Come and give reasons what they happen. And that is why no wonder the UK, England, the King of England, as of yesterday, invited both Bola Tinubu and Remi Tinubu to the UK. They want to hold a very serious meeting for the very first time in almost 38 years. In 38 years, the UK has never invited a Nigerian president to come there, sit with them, and discuss. Now we are seeing reasons why the UK wants to see Nigeria, because the UN and UK. If you ask the UN now, which country is one of your strongest and most powerful country in your convention, they'll tell you it's not the UK now. No wonder. Now things are making sense gradually. Now, the problem we can't do here is that will Bola Tinubu respond or obey this letter coming from the UN? Well, we'll get to find out together. I cannot tell you that for sure if he's going to obey it or not to. But this is a big one. And something maybe say, our law, if it's used to his advantage. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been briefed, he can use this to his advantage massively, because Nigeria is a member of the UN and you have to obey the UN's convention. Kenya too, very good, is a member of the UN. You have to obey the UN's convention. So this is a good one, a massive one. But then there's a problem. Like I said, will Bola Tinubu obey this letter? Will he obey this particular statement coming from the UN? Let's analyze. Well, first thing first, Nigeria is a member of the UN, like we've said. Does Nigeria benefit from the UN? Because if Nigeria says no, we are not going to obey this letter or take jurisdiction from this letter, what did the UN do Nigeria to force them to obey? First thing first, Nigeria, they benefit more from the United Nations. They receive different forms of loans, aid, military support, and whatsoever. There's also bilateral trade and agreements between the UN countries. So Nigeria now, if Tinubu say, I will not release this man, the UN can compel Tinubu to do so by putting up restrictions, putting up penalties for any form of disobedience. It's very simple to execute. You can tell other fellow UN countries not to do business with this particular country because of, say, they don't disobey our rulings and all. And these countries will have no other choice but to obey the statements coming from the UN. This is a massive news. It's a massive news. And it's going to play a massive role in the benefit or advantage of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So what we got advice right about tonight that Nnamdi Kanu should be briefed about this notification from the UN, because he said he wants to defend himself, or probably he will defend himself in the court of law. He needs to know about this particular letter. He needs to know about it, so that if you draft out a possible defense note, you could add rendition into it. And also, this letter from the UN should be signed, stamped, and added to any defense you want to create in the appeal court. Hope you guys are following. And this is a straight letter that has been sent to Omotosho. Now he go know what he don't put his hands in. Now he body go begin tell him. Now he go know say Omo, person wey they deal with is not just a man. Oh. This man has series of spiritual backings, spirituality where they follow him left, right, and center. And that is not even all. As of today, this is the second video of the day. We don't publish one already. If you watch our very first one, you go know say Omotosho now they for hot soup. Why? Because of, say, the US don't they send their drones and fighter jets to be stationed in Nigeria. So the US has created a fuel refilling center. They want to create a fuel refilling center in Nigeria for their jets and their drones, because of, say, they want to fight insecurity in Sokoto 100%. These jets now don't they on ground. Now they asked Tinubu, where we go build this jets refueling center? They said Lagos or Abuja. USA say no, we'll carry and go in northeast state like Maiduguri. You understand? So now as they speak, they are going to create a center in Maiduguri to help fight insecurity. Now the problem we come now be say Omotosho said Sokoto State is peaceful, it's safe and secure for the detention and life sentence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The USA are saying no. Sokoto State is the head of all forms of irregularities and insecurity, from the ISIS, from the banditry, the Lakarua group, Bellotorji, like name it. All of them, they operate from there. And this is a big, big blow. In our first video, we don't showcase every single thing you're supposed to know regarding what they happen as of today. That video, they live on our channel. And I will advise you and I will urge you to go and watch it and see what they did, because Omotosho, this later and that move made by the USA, they happen the same time. This is big, this is massive, and this is something we all need to pay attention and follow up as we go, as we move. Okay? And like I said, this is the very first video of the day. We don't publish one already. But as of yesterday, we made a video where we say you suppose watch and you suppose see. So many individuals in Sokoto State, people that reside outside Sokoto State, are complaining about the irregularities. They complain about the movement, the sudden evacuation of prisoners from Sokoto because of the issues of the USA being on ground. Some people don't complain, but this is more investigation to understand if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been evacuated or not. And that video is live on our channel, and I'll advise you to go and watch it. So that particular video, now they show right now on your screen. So click on this video to watch and understand. Click on this video and I'll see you on the other side of your screens. Thanks for watching and stay safe.